لا تنسوا الاعجاب بالفيديو والاشتراك في القناة.
Okay, so in the last lecture we learned how to create a chart, and we used our kitchen remodeling cost worksheet to create a chart. In this lecture we're going to learn how to format that chart, working with the colors and the various elements of the chart to make it look great. So let's jump right into where we were in the last lecture. We took our kitchen remodeling cost worksheet and we just created this very basic chart that has all of our different materials here and their total costs. And now we're just going to clean this up a little bit and make it look a lot better. So the first thing I want to do is I want to make all of these bars different colors, because I want to make this chart look a lot more like this one. But before I start actually making any changes, let me give you a quick tour of this interface here. So if you click on the chart itself, you get this little four-way arrow, and that allows you to grab the chart and move it around. If you click on any of the elements within the chart, you can edit them within that area. Same with all of these other areas, even the grid lines, you can click on them and it highlights them and allows you to edit it. You can also go to these three items here and click on them to do modifications there. And if you hover over them, it'll show you exactly what that aspect does, and then they all have drop-down arrows too, which give you more options. So this is your title, which is right here. And if you uncheck this, the title will just go away. And if you recheck it, it'll come back. And then you have options, and you can just play with these. See, that makes it overlay the chart, that makes it above the chart. And then you can even click on the more options for a lot of different options. So those are some things you can play with. But what I'm going to do is turn this off and start doing some modifications to these things. So I was talking about first changing these columns to make them colored, just to make them look better. So we go into this paintbrush here and it gives us styles and colors. So you'll see here you have different options that you can use for styles. You can scroll down and there are a bunch of different options. And then you can go to the colors. And this gives you different options for colors. So these are all based on the Excel theme that I have set up for my page right now. So those are a few different options, but you'll notice that every color I choose, it just keeps all of the columns the same color. And that doesn't have so much to do with my color scheme as it does to do with this particular field. So I'm going to go out of here actually. So I'm going to click on this, and this is called a data series. Make sure it's highlighted, and then I'm going to right click it, and I'm going to go down here to where it says Format Data Series. And that's going to bring up a formatting pane. And you'll see these a lot when you click on various elements throughout the chart. And while we're in here, I'll show you a couple of cool things. This is called gap width, and that's going to change the spacing between my columns. And it'll actually do it right after I release it. So I'm just making my columns wider just to give them some more bulk. And then I'm going to go up here to the fill color. So we have fill, we have effects, and we have series options. I'm going to go to the fill. And if I go down here, oh, it's not there. I have to do one more thing before I do this. I have to right click on my chart, go to select data, and if you remember before, I unclicked the quantity and the cost because we only wanted to create our chart based on the total, but I left the quantity and cost entries in this legend entry series area, and that's not allowing me to change the color of the data. So what I'm going to do is just click on these and click remove. And now I only have one entry in here, and it's going to work a lot better. So I'll click OK, and I can go back and select my data series again, right click, Format Data Series, and it brings up this panel. Now I can click on Fill, and you'll see it says Vary Colors by Point. And if I click on Vary Colors by Point, then you'll see that it makes these all different. You can also see that it inadvertently added the legend back in there, but that's okay, we'll take care of that. But now if I close out of this and go to my colors, I can play with these color schemes and get some different colors. And this first one is the one that I'm looking for, so I'll just click on that and I can close that out. Then I'll go in and just click on the legend to highlight it and click delete. Or I can always go to this chart elements pop-up, go to the legend and uncheck it and you'll see it disappears. The next thing I'm going to do is rename my chart, but I also quickly want to show you another tip. I showed you how to grab and move the chart, but you can also grab these buttons in the corners or in the side, and you can stretch the chart to resize it. And that makes it really handy to fit it wherever you want in your worksheet. So let's go in and change the title on this, and you click it once and then you double click it, and that'll put your cursor in there. And I want to make this called Cost of Different Materials. And then I can double click on it again, triple click on it to highlight everything, and you can change it to bold, any other kind of text formatting, or you can change the size of it. And you'll notice when I do this drop down and I hover over these different sizes, it gives you a little preview of what it's going to look like. So I'm going to go with 16 and just click off of it, and you're done. Now there are a couple of other things I'm going to clean up on this just to make this a really clean, sharp looking chart. The first one is these grid lines in here. And if you hover over them and click on them, you'll notice it highlights them with these little beads. So from there I can just hit the delete button, or I could always go into my chart elements as before, and I can either check it or uncheck it. I'm also going to get rid of this. This is my vertical value axis, and I just go to here and I can go to the drop down, and this is my vertical, and I can just uncheck that box and that'll get rid of it. Now I just need one more thing, and that is my data labels. And you can see when I hover over this, it already pops up a really nice version of the data labels, but I'll just show you real quickly that there are different options you can use, like centering it, putting it inside the end of the column, inside the base of the column, outside the end of the column, which is the one I like for this particular chart. So we'll go ahead and just click on that, and that's done. So now we have a nice, crisp, clean, bright, formatted chart that creates a nice visual representation of the total cost of different materials. So that's how you format a chart. Next we'll look at how to create a couple of different kinds of charts.